Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm really glad you clicked on this video today because we're diving into the world of one of the most distinctive filmmakers of modern cinema, Quentin Tarantino. Whether you love his movies, feel conflicted about them, or just know his name from pop culture, there's no denying that when Tarantino makes a film, people talk about it. So, let's start with something simple. What makes a director instantly recognizable? Is it the camera angles? The music? The dialogue? With Tarantino, it's all of it. You can usually tell you're watching one of his films within minutes. The conversations feel different. The tension builds in unexpected ways. Even silence feels intentional. Now here's something fascinating. Before he became one of the most celebrated directors in Hollywood, Tarantino worked at a video rental store. Just imagine that for a second. A young film nerd surrounded by thousands of movies every single day, studying them, absorbing them, dissecting them. He didn't go to a prestigious film school in the traditional sense. His film school was watching everything, from classic Hollywood to kung fu films to spaghetti westerns. And maybe that makes you think, how much of mastery is formal training, and how much is obsession and passion? His big breakthrough came in the early 90s with Reservoir Dogs. It was bold. It was violent. It was dialogue-heavy in a way that felt almost theatrical, but it was also smart and confident. And then came the film that really shook the industry, Pulp Fiction. This wasn't just a hit movie, it was a cultural shift. Nonlinear storytelling became cool again. Suddenly, you didn't have to tell a story from beginning to end in a straight line. You could jump around, play with time, and trust the audience to keep up. Do you remember the first time you saw a story told out of order? Did it confuse you, or did it excite you? One thing Tarantino does better than almost anyone is dialogue. His characters don't just talk, they perform. They debate burgers, foot massages, pop culture, loyalty, revenge, sometimes in the middle of life-or-death situations. And somehow, those conversations feel just as gripping as the action scenes. Why is that? Maybe it's because real life is like that too. Big moments are often surrounded by small, random conversations. Tarantino understands that rhythm of humanity. As his career continued, he refused to stay in one genre. Kill Bill blended martial arts, revenge drama, and stylized action into something visually unforgettable. Inglourious Bastard reimagined World War II history in a way that sparked both applause and controversy. Django Unchained tackled slavery through a revenge Western lens. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood felt like a nostalgic love letter to a bygone era of filmmaking. But here's a question worth thinking about. When a filmmaker rewrites history the way Tarantino does, is it pure entertainment, or is it commentary? Is he giving audiences a fantasy of justice? Or is he challenging us to think about how stories shape our understanding of the past? Of course, we can't talk about Tarantino without mentioning the violence in his films. It's stylized, exaggerated, sometimes shocking. Critics argue about whether it glorifies violence or critiques it. Fans say it's part of his artistic signature. So where do you stand? At what point does artistic expression cross a line? Or is art supposed to make us uncomfortable sometimes? Another thing that sets Tarantino apart is his use of music. He doesn't just pick songs, he curates moments. A retro track plays over an intense scene, and suddenly that scene feels iconic. The soundtrack becomes inseparable from the story. Have you ever heard a song and immediately pictured a scene from one of his movies? That's the power of intentional storytelling. And then there's his loyalty to practical effects, long takes, and a certain old-school filmmaking style. In an era dominated by CGI and fast editing, Tarantino often slows things down. He lets scenes breathe. He builds tension gradually. It's almost like he's daring the audience to stay patient. And usually that patience pays off. Something else that fascinates people is his plan to retire after 10 films. He's openly said he doesn't want to overstay his welcome in the industry. That idea alone is pretty bold. Most creatives keep going as long as they can. But Tarantino talks about ending his film career on his own terms. That raises an interesting thought. Is it better to leave people wanting more, or to continue creating as long as the passion is there? Love him or question him, Tarantino has undeniably influenced an entire generation of filmmakers. His fingerprints are everywhere in indie cinema, in streaming series, in the way dialogue is written today. He proved that you could have a strong, unmistakable voice and still reach mainstream success. And that's inspiring in its own way. It reminds us that originality still matters. So maybe the bigger takeaway isn't just about his movies. Maybe it's about the courage to lean fully into your style, even if it's not for everyone. Because let's be honest, not everyone loves Tarantino. And that's okay. Art isn't supposed to be universally comfortable. It's supposed to spark something. Conversation. Debate. Emotion. I'd love to know what you think. What's your favorite Tarantino film? Is it the nonlinear chaos of Pulp Fiction? The epic revenge of Kill Bill? The historical twists of Inglourious Bastard? Or maybe you have a completely different pick. Let me know in the comments. I genuinely enjoy reading your perspectives. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more explorations into the minds of iconic filmmakers and storytellers, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Share this video with a fellow movie lover who appreciates bold cinema. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a future upload. Thanks so much for spending your time here with me today. I appreciate you more than you know. I'll see you in the next video.